Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm your host, World of Tanks Blitz, and in today's video, we are going to be talking about a new German light tank coming into Blitz. Currently, the highest tiered light tanks we have available in the game from the German tree are Tier 8. We have the Hawk 30, the RU-251, and the Lech Panzer M4190, otherwise known as the Black Dog. I actually think all these vehicles are quite fun with their own characteristics going for them. However, it is a little disappointing that we do not have a Tier 9 or 10 German light, and I would really like to see Wargaming add light tank trees for each nation in the game. Maybe not each nation, but each popular nation. Like Japan, it's a pretty small nation. I don't know if we need a light tank for Japan as of yet. I don't want an STB light. But I do think that Germany, which already has a light on PC, the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, should get a tank like that in Blitz. I think that would be very, very normal to expect. And, well, we're not getting that yet, but we do have good news. There is a Tier 9 German light tank that will be coming into the game as a collector, and this is the Lech Panzer 70K. It's one of the goofiest looking vehicles I've ever seen. Look at how goofy this thing is. I mean, it's actually really, really funky to look at. We can see a better idea of what it looks like here, and yeah, this thing it's all track, no turret. I mean, it makes a Tornvon turret look full-sized. Now that's good, because obviously driving a light tank, you don't want to expose much of your vehicle. But I will say the armor is like non-existent. If you hit it anywhere, it's 40 to 50 millimeters thick. But it is a really goofy tank. If you turn this thing side on and you manage to hide it behind a ridge and you go like this, I guarantee people are going to have a funky time hitting this vehicle. Its upper plate is also rather troll. Now you will have to be careful because you can ricochet the upper plate into the turret, as we can see, and you will still penetrate the vehicle. So that's something you're going to have to be careful about. But in general, it actually has a rather troll upper plate that even heat shells aren't going to pen on most angles, which is kind of goofy, but its lower plate only 43. The side armor is non-existent. The rear is 20. Yeah, so in most case scenarios, you're going to be absolutely high explosive to death in this tank. But let's find out what it has going for it, and I'll let you know my personal opinions on whether I think the tank is good, bad, or needs a change. Let's start off by putting on calibrated shells, enhanced gun laying drive, V-stabs. We're going to be putting on extra hit points, and mobility. Everything else should be properly kitted out. In terms of consumables, we can see that everything on this vehicle is bare bones normal, so it doesn't get spall liner or anything crazy on provisions. Very basic double food and fuel. Starting off, we have the damage per minute, 2,560. Honestly, that's pretty good. It's nothing crazy, but this is a Tier 9 after all. It's not Tier 10. And I think that's more than enough to get the job done. It has a pretty solid amount of pen at 250 millimeters on the standard, and a pretty beefy alpha at 340. So really, the gun looks actually quite solid for what is a light tank. Let's take a look at what it has for heat. 2,183 DPM. That's because it loses quite a bit of alpha, going from 340 to 290, 50 damage per shot. The vehicle gains 70 millimeters of pen, though, loading into the premium, 319. That's actually pretty good premium pen. It's nothing crazy, but it will be enough to cut through the majority of Tier 9s, or even 10s that you'll be aiming at, as long as it's not the front of like an E100. The high explosive on this tank has 59 mils of pen and does a pretty nice 430 damage per shot. So the HE is actually very dangerous on this vehicle. It's not as good as Soviet high explosive, but it's still very, very dangerous, especially for this being a German light tank. Gun depression wise, this vehicle features 7 degrees, and we can see that it's 7 degrees over the front, the sides, and even the rear, which is really nice. It's very rare to drive a vehicle where it has the same amount of gun depression over the entire vehicle. If you drive American vehicles, for example, the rear of like the M48 Patton sticks up so high that you actually have negative gun depression over the rears. It's really bad, and it can make shooting people awkward because you might run away and you'll try to shoot somebody and your gun will swivel over the back of your tank and just make it useless. That's not a problem for the Lech Panzer, which is going to actually be quite nice. Dispersion, the vehicle is 0.317. That's pretty good, especially because we're not even running refined gun. With refined, it goes down to 0.269. I actually had to stop recording the video to double check this value. We can see that this tank has 0.047 on move. That might be the best on-move dispersion I've seen ever in the game. That is absolutely insane. Just for, like, normal on-move values, the Boss Shotzione 25-ton AP at tier 9, which is actually quite good, is 0.09. This is half of that. It means that when you're driving on the move, this thing is gonna be quite accurate. In fact, it might be one of the most accurate vehicles in the game just because of that. What the heck? Now, turning the tank is 0.09, so if you move the vehicle left or right, it's going to disperse more, but if you're just driving in a straight line, it's going to be a little nutty. And its turret traverse is 0.085. So in general, this is one of the most accurate guns on move in the game. The only thing that causes it to bloom is after shot, but that doesn't really matter when the vehicle has a 7.6 second reload, so that's not even really a problem. Wow, that is a crazy gun handling stat. I have a feeling I'm going to like this tank quite a bit. Taking a look at its top speed, has a 60 km/h limit and 20 on reverse. It has a power to weight ratio of 23.5 on hard terrain and 21.6 on medium. Honestly, it's not the fastest light tank. It's not slow by any means, but if you compare the speed on this tank to the Boss Shotzione or even the Sheridan, it's definitely a bit slower, which is something you'll have to keep in mind. Traverse speed is fine though, and I think the mobility in general will still be more than enough to get the job done. It's going to have 1600 hit points, which is not too much, but should be enough. Camo values while sitting still, 32 on move. Okay, I mean, obviously when you've got your crew skills and everything paired together, your camo values are going to be quite a bit more. But in general, this is a really fun looking tank. In fact, this might be one of the most exciting vehicles I have seen in a while. I mean, it looks like a blast. It's this tiny light tank that has pretty good gun depression, especially for the profile it features. It's going to have wonky armor that people aren't going to know how to penetrate. And when you pair all of that together with the fact that this gun looks like it's going to be an absolute blast to use, this is definitely my cup of tea. This is the type of tank that I love. Accuracy is so nice, and not having to worry about RNG screwing over some of your shots can be just such a wonderful experience. So I can tell you right now that I am rather excited to see how this vehicle actually gets implemented in the game, if it's going to keep these values or if Wargaming is going to change them. At the end of the day, only time can tell. Let me know what you guys think about the Lech Panzer 70K in the comments down below if you're excited or you're scared that this thing's going to be rolling around on the battlefield. I don't think it's going to be anything overpowered. As we saw, it has literally 0 armor, so even though its gun is quite nice, it's not going to be that hard of a tank to fight, especially when you realize it only has 340 damage per shot, which, I mean, it's decent, but it's not like it's bonking you for 600 like a T-30 or a T-92E1. I think it'll definitely be a easily countered vehicle, especially for the average player. But I have a feeling that in a skilled player's hands, this German Tier 9 is going to be incredibly fun, and that's why I'm really excited for it. It looks absolutely fantastic. So, as always, hopefully you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more early content like this, make sure to subscribe, make sure to join the Discord pinned in the comments down below, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye!